everybody, welcome. The round 11 preview. That's right, we're here in round 11. It's a good start to the season so far, halfway through. Next week's a mid-season draft, so the ladder order after this week will be the mid-season draft. And just to remind everyone, it's been changed. It was voted. The majority of the votes got it. So those who didn't vote, bad luck. Majority rules. Person who finishes last will get the first pick, and they will also get the 11th pick. So it's no longer a snake ladder for mid-season draft. Once again, as you can tell, I'm here with the lovely Melly. It's a bit out of screen, a bit out of shot this week. We're trying to adjust the camera a little bit, see how it goes, a little bit different. That's all right. So anyway, let's get started with that ladder. And this is the way the ladder stands as it is. Renegades on top, tied with Rangers Anonymous, who lost the lead last week. They're a game behind on rolling somehow. Don't know. And then it's myself, Arth Kings United, and Jacob Jabronis, who play each other this week. Sugar Daddies on the same points as Jabronis, as well as Seek and Destroy. No Dumplings in at 16 points. And the team that's going to finish and get the first pick of the mid-season draft is either going to be Maltese Falcons or Gods of Olympus. One of those teams will have the first pick and the 11th pick. The other one will have the second pick and the 12th pick, obviously. So anyway, let's get things started. First round, Melly. Seek and Destroy in the first game versus Renegades, top of the ladder. Projected score, Seek and Destroy projected for 312. Renegades projected for a massive 342. On averages, Renegades actually been getting around 322 a week, and Seek and Destroy has been getting about 295, one of only two teams to score under 300. Now, just remember, squads aren't final just yet. The time is 9:15 Thursday night, and the teams are what I see in front of me right now. If they change, they change, but we'll go over a few things. I actually haven't even seen the squads to see who's in and who's out this week. So, yeah, we'll get over it. I'm sure we will. So let's get started. Seek and Destroy. Charlie Dixon, after a massive game last week, is going to be full forward, and Tom Lynch, half forward against St Kilda. His old club, so we'll see how he goes there. Danger back in Geelong against GWS Utility. Now, Seek and Destroy needs to take out James Kelly, because that's one thing I did hear is James Kelly is out. So he needs to take him out. And Dylan Shields is a follower as well. And he's got Zach Smith in the ruck. Matt Prittis, halfback. Last game he will play. Second last game he will play because the draft's next week. So Matt Prittis will be his second last game he plays for Seek and Destroy. And Blix Vars is back at tackler. And Ollie Wines is the interchange. Perhaps he can look at bringing in the midfield an Ollie Wines, Hayden Balance, not Hayden Valentine, a Riscatelli. Who else he got? Yeah, Travis Boak maybe. So look at bringing him in too. Good choice not playing the Cra. Apparently the Cra's only kicked one goal away from home this year. So Mock will be hoping, and so will House will be hoping he lifts that up. So that's Seek and Destroy's team. So yeah, look, pretty good side. But he's up against a rampaging. I think he's won quite a few in a row. I can't remember the last time he lost. In Renegades, projected for 342. He's going with Walters at full forward against Essendon. He's going to think Essendon is going to feast on those Essendon defenders, apparently. Nick Riewoldt over in Adelaide at the half forward. It could be a bit of a shootout that game. And he's sticking with John Lewis against Melbourne's Utility. Aaron Hall and Lockie Hunter in the midfield. Mumford in the ruck against his old club in Geelong. Zach Merrick as halfback. He's always been good in Barlow as tackler. So his team hasn't really changed. He's got interchange Tom Liberatore. One thing maybe need to look out for is Lewis has only been really good every second week. So hopefully he changes that trend for our sake. But other options he's got there. Forward line, if he's not happy with Walters, can Darling. But once again, how does he go away from home? I don't know. What else he's got? He hasn't really got much else to choose from. Tom Hawkins maybe down in Geelong. We know they do all right. But other than that, not many other options to really choose from there for Stiff. So that's 342. And now, everyone, we all loved it last week. Hopefully he's not too close to the camera this week. But here's Coley.
It's time for
Coley.
So, Seek and Destroy versus Renegades. Stat of the game, it's all about 4 wins in the last 5 games. If we look at Stiff, he's got himself to the top of the table. We knew he was in good form, and it wasn't a surprise when I did the stat of the game to have a look at Stiff's won 4 of his last 5 games. But what was surprising about this matchup is the fact that Seek and Destroy have also won 4 of their last 5 games. So we've got a clash of 4 of the last 5 game victors here. So I had to go to the next layer for the stat of the game to really find out which team will actually come out on top. Out of those 4 wins, Seek and Destroy's highest score is only 318, where we know the Renegades have a footywired season high 2016 of 388. So at the end of the day, I'm rolling with the Renegades, even though both teams, stat of the game, 4 wins in the last 5. I'll go for the Renegades. Good luck to both teams.
All right, thank you very much, Coley. Mate, last week was scary, Coley that close to the camera. I couldn't believe it. It scared the hell out of me. But anyway, next game we've got coming is Maltese Falcons, Mark Fennick versus Ring Anonymous, Mark Fennick. Yes, Fennick loves playing with himself, as we can tell.
You can just play with yourself. That's fine. I like playing with myself. I play with myself all day long. What?
Yeah, Fennick always playing with himself, isn't he? All right, so he's projected for 310. Fennick's other side, Rangers, Kenner's team. What's this? We might have to hear from Kenner again next week. He's projected for 327. Fennick's sticking with his usual 4 lineup, although he could bring Travis Cloak back in. He's stuck with Jack Watts and Jack Gunston. And then utility Jack Stevens for 3 Jacks, 3 of a kind. It's gone with Dion Presti except for Josh Kelly this week, so that's an option. That's one of the options. Dion Presti's been pretty good the last couple of weeks, and he's actually got getting a few tackles as well, so he might be back to his best. And he does welcome Andrew Gaff back. Tom Nichols in the ruck, yeah, see how that goes. And Cripps as a halfback, been really, really good. Cripps averaging about 60, between 62 and 70 each week. He does get a lot of handballs though. That's one bad thing. And Mitch Robinson as a tackler. Now, I think he's trying to trade him, everyone. Last week, Armitage got 70 tackles. He sits on his bench, doesn't find a spot. This is the second last game Stevens and Armitage will feature for Maltese Falcons, and he's going to do a trade. Other options, he's got possibly Josh Kelly, as I said, Travis Cloak, another one. I believe Fennick's probably looking for a forward in the draft. I reckon a forward or midfielder. He has mentioned a few names. I know everything, Fennick. I see all. Anyway, as for Rangers, one other thing, by the way, Fennick, Rory Laird might be back, so have a look at that. As for Rangers Anonymous, 327. They've lost 3 games in a row after going 7-0, 3 in a row losses. So that's unlucky there for Rangers, although they are scoring pretty high. Now, the long term of Nat Fyfe there, injury has affected him a bit. Probably still wouldn't drop him. I'd probably still keep him because he might want to retain him next year. But his full forward line hasn't really changed. It's Hogan and Walker. Why would you want to change that? They've been pretty good. And Sellers utility. Sellers been a bit down lately, but he's back at Geelong, so maybe he might be okay this week. Midfielder Matthew Boyd and Sam Mitchell. Sam Mitchell's copped the tag the last 2 weeks now. Whether that affects his decision making there, who knows? But at the moment he's got there. And Hanson's been surprisingly good in the ruck. Surprisingly good, actually. Zorko's a halfback. Had a good game last week. He's averaging 64 as a halfback. And Liam Shaw's a tackler has been very good as a tackler, to be honest. I think you should keep Liam Shaw's there. Maybe look at changing him. He did change Toby Green. Options, unlike other teams, Kenner's got almost a pretty big list to choose from. He's got Nathan Jones to choose from. He's got Brendan Goddard to choose from. Jeff Garlett in the forward line if he wants to. Jack Cripps has been pretty good lately. Tom Bell's been kicked last few weeks. He's kicked 3 goals in the game. So that's pretty good. More than likely, Kenner's going to be dropping Ruffy for his pick. Maybe Jared Witts. I don't know. So he needs to make a few changes there. I think Matthew Boyd might be playing strength game this week, so he might have a big one for Kenner. But anyway, if we have a look at it, let's go to Coley for his stats.
It's time for
Coley.
Falcons versus Rangers for the Fennick Cup, and this game is all about the stat of the night of over 300. So if we have a look at Fennick, we know he scored 334 a couple of times. He actually scored 300 again last week, even though he lost. So Fennick scored 300 in the last 3 games. The Rangers have scored actually 300 in the last 5 games. So this is really the 300 Cup compared to the Fennick Cup, because combined the teams are on an 8-game winning streak over 300. If we have a look at Fennick, like I said, he's 2-1 in those 3 games. The Rangers, geez, I thought the wheels had fallen off the Rangers, but we went in, had a look at the stat of the game. The Rangers have scored 5 weeks in a row over 300. Not too many sides can do this. The problem for the Rangers is Unlike Fenwick, they've lost their last 3 games in a row. So I'm going to roll with the Falcons here in the Fenwick Cup, just because out of their last 3 games, they scored 300. They're 2 wins and 1 loss. Good luck to both sides.
Thanks for that, Cole. Interesting. Ranger's average is actually 322 and Fenwick's average is 304. So, I reckon Ranger's probably get there, but who knows. All right, so next game is Jacobs Jabronis. And actually, you know what? Millie's still here, guys. Jacobs Jabronis versus myself, Ask Tickets United. Projected games here is going to be pretty close. I think we're both averaging about 330 or something like that, so that's pretty good there. As for the year, Jabronis is averaging 319. I'm averaging 318. So this game is going to be close. It looks like it's going to be close. This is the game of the rounds, in my opinion, anyway. Both teams, one's 4th, one's 5th. Whoever loses is more than likely going to get out of the 5 this week and get a better draft position. I might tank. No, not Ross Lyon, don't worry. But that's this week. We'll look at Jabronis' team. This week he's gone Josh Bruce and Tom Lynch as his forward line. He's kept his forward line as it is. And Luke Parker's utility against Gold Coast could be dangerous for me. Bernie Vincent and Limatania had a bad week last week. They weren't up to their normal standards, although they have been very reliable, averaging 42 and 46 in the midfield. And he's going to keep those there this week, probably more than likely. Although he has got Trent Cotchin and Dustin Martin to play, who doesn't play. Don't play him again this week for me, please. Sam Jacobs in the ruck up against Tom Hickey. Tom Hickey's been in pretty good form, so we'll see how it goes there. And Lockie Neal as a halfback against Essendon should have a field day. I reckon he's been having a field day all year, almost averaging 70 as a halfback. So leave it as it is. Tom Mitchell's been really good the last couple of weeks. He's been in a lot of tackles, so you got to be happy with him as a tackler there. Interchange, Martin option, Stephen Hill option, Trent Cotchin option. Now all those 3 players have been really well. Actually, Stephen Hill's coming back from injury, but Martin and Cotchin have been fantastic. And as I said, someone trying to make a trade with him. I don't need him. Someone trying to make a trade with him. Look at that. Here she goes. Going to put the camera out of focus. Have a stretch in front of the camera. That's it. That's it. You done? Do you want to leave now? Come here. Get out of the way, will you? All right. Sorry about that, everyone. Mellie's had enough. She's going to go do her running man skit. Anyway. Yeah, so his options there, Trent Cotchin. Scott Lyce has been really good lately, surprisingly. He could almost be a utility. He's like getting tackles, he's getting hit outs, he's getting a couple of goals. So yeah, maybe an option there for him. Other than that, no other options for him. As we go to me, Ask Kickers United. Now, unfortunately, somehow I lost last week. I don't know how, but I lost. Oh, I do know how. Some of my players didn't do anything last quarter. But I'm going to stay with the same forward line with Bruce and Franklin. I could go Cyril. Should have gone Cyril last week, but I've gone Bruce and Franklin. As utility, I've moved Dan Hanbury to the utility spot against Gold Coast. So hopefully Franklin and Hanbury have a massive game. I've left Scott Thompson in midfield. Unsure yet. I'm either going to put Scott Thompson as a halfback, but at the moment I'm leaving him in the midfield as well as Zaharakis and Nick Nat in the ruck up against no ruckman in the Bulldogs. Although we have read that stat where most ruckmen against Bulldogs don't have a good game. I've got Rory Stone as halfback, hoping he lifts his game. He is getting tackles, but last week he had a shocker game. And I've got Brad Ebert as a tackler, averaging 9 as a tackle. Cyril interchange. Really can go anywhere. He's a bloody gun. Cyril. Anyway, my options, as mentioned, Cyril in the midfield because I'm a bit short on midfielders there because I don't know what Tomo's going to do. I've got Maston, got Hartung, Brad Crouch, maybe make the side. I'm not too sure because I have lost Jack Viney this week. Segler's been all right in the ruck. I can possibly play Segler as a ruck. Last week got 32 hitouts and put Nick Nat as utility, but I'm going to leave it that as it is. And so that's my team. I reckon I'm going to win, but let's see what Coley says.
It's time for
Coley. Game.
Yeah, we'll see. Jabronis versus Ass Kickers. All about the number 325 in this game. 325 is what it's all about. Let's have a look why. Stat of the game, 325. Ass Kickers United, proclaimed by Coach Christos to be a high-octane, brilliant points for offensive juggernaut. Went in and had a look at the stats. They're not an offensive juggernaut at all. They've actually only scored above 325, 2 weeks for the whole year. One of them was way back 9 weeks ago against Jabronis. The other one, who knows when it was, because I couldn't go back and look. I just couldn't find anything at all. So Ass Kickers United have only scored 325 twice. We have a look how that matches up with jabronis, and it doesn't match up with the great jabronis. They're a bit hot and cold, jabronis. When they're hot because it's 5 times for jabronis. 5 times above 325 for jabronis. Only twice for ass kickers. Chris, you've got no offence at all. Points forward does not matter because you can't even score 325. I'm rolling with jabronis. If they score 325, the maths just says, the stat of the game just says, jabronis cannot lose. 325. You shit, Chris. Whoops, I swore.
This game is sugar versus dumplings. That's right. Sugar dumpling is this game. What a beautiful song. Listen to it. Sugar and dumplings. What a perfect mix. Look at that. How beautiful is that? We're just going to keep this song going throughout the whole preview of this game. So as I said, we've got sugar versus no dumplings versus sugar daddies. No dumplings are projected for 323. Sugar daddies for 328. So two big scores projected there. So that should be pretty good if that works out. Let's have a look at Eddie Betts after his massive game last week. And Dash, did you play Eddie Betts last week? Oh, that's right, you didn't. Stuff up. Anyway, I didn't play Cyril. Eddie Betts full forward. Steve Johnson going back home to the Cattery. I don't know. I don't reckon he's going to have a good game personally, but who knows? See how he goes there as a half forward. He actually hasn't been very good as a half forward recently, from what I know. But yeah, see how he goes there. As for the utility, he's got Bryce Gibbs. Great form from Bryce Gibbs last few weeks. He's polling in every game. I reckon they're going to have another win this week against Brisbane, so he probably should have another game as well. But yeah, see how that goes there. Now, Heath Shaw in the midfield didn't have his best game last week. Only got about 20 kicks compared to his 35 he got the week before. And he's putting Penderry back in the midfield against Port Adelaide. I think Penderry historically has had a good game against Port Adelaide, so let's see how that goes. Brody Gunn in the ruck. Everyone knows what happens to Ruckman when they play Port Adelaide. They get a massive score. So it'll be interesting to see what Brody Grundy does there. And Josh Kennedy, I think 80 last week or 70 or 80 last week. I don't know what it was, but he had a massive game last week. And Dash will be hoping the same from this week against Gold Coast, although it might not be as confrontational or as combative as what the game was this one. Kieran Jack as tackler. Apparently was on the pace for world record pace last week, but didn't quite get it, did he, Ash? So thanks for letting us telling us all that. Now he's got Jack Zeeble there as interchange. From what I understand, Jack Zeeble is available for trade if anyone's interested in it. So have a look how it goes there. Other options for Dash. David Mundy is an option. He's back in the team this week. McAvoy in the ruck against Corn. I don't think so. Picken, Emright, McVeigh, they're all been pretty good. Pavlich has actually been getting a few tackles lately, by the way, Dash, if you haven't noticed. And Mitch Duncan, he needs to step up. And playing at Geelong, he probably will have a good game. And, of course, you've got the half. So you've almost got a full squad to choose from. The only one that's not picked at the moment, is Zach Clark. So you're actually in a pretty good position. As for his sugar dumpling combatant, whatever you want to call it, sugar, sticking with Jeremy Cameron, and Jared Waite. Now, in my opinion, Jared Waite's not going to have a very good game. He's playing up against Alex Rance. The conditions won't be that good in North Melbourne, but we'll see what he does there. I may want to look at changing it. Left Robbie Gray as utility. He's going to change his team. He's going to bring Ablett in against Sydney. I know he will. Whether he brings him as utility, whether he brings him as a midfielder, which is up to him. But Callum Ward in the midfield with Delilio. Max Gorn in the ruck. We know what he's going to do against Hawthorn. And he's going to probably leave Chaw's halfback. Chaw's been pretty good. Dowhouse is a tackler. Does get tacklers. So he's, good options there as well. And he needs to take Murphy out because Murphy's out for the next 4 weeks, I think. So what have we got next? We've got Bontempelli he can choose from. He's got Stephen Motlop he can choose from. He's got to play Gaz. Come on. Gaz has had a good game last week. And I reckon, Gaz is either a half forward or Gaz either a midfielder until he gets back into his tackling and stuff, mate. But he had a good game last week. And apparently, very lucky to get it over the line last week. You only just bet Mickey. He didn't have a ruckman. Apparently, if you played Gary, it would have been different. So I think you still would have lost Shuey, just to let you know. But Mick still cried, so that's pretty funny. Del Santo, Redpath, other options, and also Darcy Parish. Now, you probably wouldn't play those guys. But Tom Campbell's been all right. Up against Nick Nat, though, maybe not this week. So that's Sugar's team. Not too bad. What are they averaging there? Sugar's averaging 312. Dash is averaging 306. I reckon it'll be a close game. I don't know. I reckon reckon Dash might get up, but we'll see what Collie says.
It's time for
So no dumplings versus the Sugars. Stat of the game here is really all about whether no dumplings win or not. Because having a look, no dumplings actually got their 4th victory last week. I was a bit surprised they've actually won 4, to be honest, Dash, but well done. So he got his actually 4th victory. And in those 4 victories, no dumplings actually averaged 333 points. Now, we're not talking about 1 or 2 wins where numbers can get skewed. They've actually been quite good in all their wins. So the stat of the game towards no dumplings here is if no dumplings can win, Sugars may have to get 330, maybe 320 to actually get the job done. So we went in and had a little bit of a look at the stat of the game for Sugars, and Sugars is 5 times above 325 for the year. So at the end of the day, if no dumplings score 320, 330, that potentially is not going to really bother Sugars because he seems to be wax on, wax off. He's there every second week. This is going to be a great game, really, really close to call. I'm going to roll with Dash because it's a flip of a coin. It landed on Dash. At the end of the day, good luck to both teams. This should be a ripper.
Thanks, Collie. Thankfully, he's not so close to the stuff this week. But anyway, it is Collie on rolling versus Gods of Olympus, Michael. Michael's had enough. He says this season's not over. He's going to fight to the end. He still thinks he's going to make the finals. Anyway, he's serious. And he's just told me that.
I'm not giving it.
Give him, Nick. It's over. But he's not giving in. And let's go to his team. On rolling versus Gods of Olympus. You done? On rolling, averaging 299, under 300. Gods of Olympus averaging 308. Realistically, Gods of Olympus should win, but somehow Collie keeps on winning with a crap team. This week's projected scores, though, Gods of Olympus is projected to get 298, and on Olympus to get 302. So we'll see what happens there. However, he doesn't take Josh Kelly out of his ruck. Let's be honest, he's going to put Kurt Tipper in the ruck, and he's going to put, we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's go back to Gods of on Rolling's team. Now, Coley this week, he's gone with Josh Kennedy as full forward. Not confident with him travelling away from the Domain Stadium, I think. And he's gone with Chad Wingard as the half forward spot. So, yeah, interesting that. I don't know about that one, but Kenny doesn't actually has a pretty good game normally at Etihad Stadium. So, well, that's up to you, Colin. They're both averaging 24. So, Kenny is a pretty good full forward, but still reckon he's a better half forward because he's getting over 50 for you. What's Wingard only 24? Double the score, mate. Let's be now. Sorry, Colin. This is killing it. Seriously, how are you in the top? How did you beat me? How are you third? Anyway, Kenny's going to average 24 as a full forward. Chad Wingard's going to average 16 or whatever as a full forward. Kenny's going to average 45 as a half forward. Chad Wingard 24. It's a 20-point differential, mate. Have a think about it. Anyway, if you're confident that Wingard's going to have a good game with Collingwood, that's up to you. But, you know, Collie does lose Taylor Adams this week. So he's put Piers Hanley as his utility instead. So, yeah, Piers Hanley had an alright game last week, but he hasn't played two games in a row. Brown Lewis and Kate Simpson in the midfield, they were pretty good last week. Both got over 40, so they can't complain. And Hickey's been really good this season, to be honest. Had a big game last week, Hickey did. Swallows halfback got 70, and Main as tackler. Main was a bit down last week, but you would think, I reckon Fremantle are going to win this week, so he's big up for it. His other options, as we know, Ben Cunnington, Stephen Martin's there. Obviously, he's not going to get another game for the Rollers. Levi Greenwell and Grant Birchall. Also Trent West and Lindsay Thomas. Lindsay Thomas copped a bit of criticism last week, didn't he? So, yeah. But Greenwell got 11 tackles last week. That might be an option for you, except with Chris Main. Collingwood's under a bit of pressure. I think they feel like they'll have to win because they brought Cloak in, so that might be an option for you there, Collingwood, to look at. But yeah, as for Michael, Tippett won't be full forward. Tippett's actually going to probably be either ruck or utility. See how he goes there. At the moment, he's got Petrie in at full forward and Jack Rewell as half forward. Petrie is no good. I reckon he needs to get rid of Petrie, to be honest, because he's no good. He might kick 1-2 goals a game. As far as you'll be happy with that, we'll see how it goes there. Jack Rewell staying where he is. Here's Michael with his music again. It's half forward. Rewald down at Tassie, down his home ground. He grew up down at ground, so we'll see how he goes there. Utility's a bit of an option there for Michael. Doesn't quite know what he's going to do. He's got Tippett to play, possibly against Gold Coast. Could have a massive game. Goldstein, the beauty of a Friday night game is you can always change Goldstein if he's out, because he may be laid out. So Tippett will go on utility if Goldstein doesn't play, in my opinion. Otherwise, Goldstein so utility, Tippett will go ruck. And then Lulberger will play in the ruck. McRae and Sidebottom is in the midfielders last week. They both got almost 50. And also he's got, as his halfback at the moment, is Luke Shuey. Whether he changed that, I don't know. Luke Shuey doesn't really play too well away from home as well, at Stadium. He has got Tom Rockcliffe to welcome back. He has got the option of Canelio as well, so that might be an option for him. Also, Josh Caddy and Isaac Smith are there as well. Isaac Smith back on the big grounds in MCG should be pretty good. Forward options that have really got their good, because he's lost for Solo, he's lost Darcy Moore. So, yeah, maybe he's stuck with Drew Petrie, who knows. So, Mick is hit by a few injuries, to be honest. But that's a mixed team, so yes, I think Mick will win. Let's see what Coley thinks.
It's time for
Coley. Game.
So our final game, Rollers my side versus Gods of Olympus mixed side. Cellar Dwellers at the moment, not having a good year. We'll get to them in a minute. Stat of the game for the Rollers is they're already 3-0 versus Point Cook sides this year. They've had absolutely no trouble at all, like a Steph Curry 3 or Clay Thompson. Just rack it up at the moment for the Rollers when they play the Point Cook sides. None of the games have been close. They've already beat Mick once. They've already beat Chris twice. They're looking for a clean sweep of the Point Cook sides unless one of them somehow make the finals. I don't think Mick's playing finals. Maybe Chris will play finals, but at the end of the day, if it has to be 5 wins for the Rollers, it can be 5. But stat of the game, Rollers, only team to go for a clean sweep versus the Point Cook Derby sides. And it could be 4-0 at the end of this game, and it probably will be, to be 100% honest. However, Mick has got a stat of the game. And this is an absolute humdinger of a stat of the game for Mick. It could be the greatest one I've ever actually worked out. What it is Mick has only scored 10 premiership points this year. He's scored them over 3 different games with 2 wins and a draw. And you have a look when that happened. He had a win in round 3. He had a draw in round 5 against Arse Kickers. And he had a win in round 9. So round 3, round 5, round 9. They're all odd numbers. We're now, I don't know what the Gods of Olympus have been doing in the even rounds, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, because they haven't scored any points. They've obviously done nothing. But it's now round 11. It's an odd week. Mick could be dangerous. Gods of Olympic, they only score when it's an odd week. That's the stat of the night for Gods of Olympus. I don't think it's going to be enough. The Rollers, Point Cook, you can have your odds all you like. I'm rolling with the Rollers to get the job done.
All right, Coley. That was all right. And look, you beat me last week fair and square, and you sang a song to everyone about Steph Martin. Well, I'm going to sing this song to you now, Coley. This is the song. Because you won, I'm just going to let you know that you're just too good to be true. I can't believe I lost to you. Your scores are so low each week, and I can't believe I got beat. But all good's 'cause I will survive, and you will not make the top 5, 'cause your team is so crap, and this song is a rap. That's right, Coley, that's my song to you. Everyone loved my little singing there, pretty good, huh? Anyway, that's the season starts this week. Whatever the ladder is after the round will be the draft order. It's no longer Snake, remember that. Friday game, North Melbourne versus Richmond down at Tassie. It's supposed to be cold, so see how you go there. But look, everyone, good luck to everyone besides Houghton and Coley.